Boom, boom. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Hey, Thankful. Hi, Thankful. That's Thankful the cat. Hi, Thankful. How are you doing today? Oh, there's my Cherie. Hi, Cherie. How are you? How are you? Oh, and there's Thankful again. Hi, Thankful. Hooray! Here we are. Here we are. This is the court. Four courts, obviously. And this is the Abbot of Kensington. The Abbot of Kensington in school time. I'm gonna do my lead-in.
That?
I'm gonna do a lead-in.
He's going to do it out here, Rich.
Oh, lead-in. Oh.
I figured maybe we'll do an original segment. I already interviewed you on location where you're doing that for. Here's the Kensington Abbot on location here on Frankfort Avenue as we're addressing the people in the neighborhood and the community about the flying chicken and its effect on the people around here and what we're doing to protect ourselves against this deadly flying chicken disease. Oh, look, as it happens, the state representative, Richie Buddha, just happened by. You never know who you're going to meet walking down the street over here. It's people you meet in the community, you know. Richie Buddha, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, Bear?
So what brings you around Kensington today? Just walking around the neighborhood and checking out the community?
Oh, you called me and asked me to come over.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. No. I did actually come over because I'm very interested in this organized Kensington movement you seem to be spearheading here, you and Dennis Payne. And can you fill people in a little bit more on your progress with cleaning up and picking up and basically, as I said, in my opinion, it's dealing with everything involved as well as the flying chicken. It's basically back to basics of keeping things tidy and straightened up. Picking up for ourselves and teaching others to be a reflection thereof.
Melania Trump and Harry, beloved husband, Mr. Donald Trump, directly from the White House. Directly from the White House. Of course, not directly to me, just for me, but who knows how many more American people received this letter. And I'm almost done reading.
Cleanliness is close to what?
Godliness.
Oh, okay.
We can't say that here.
Yeah, I mean, just the mere fact of just cleaning out front of your own house brings pride.
Dave?
Dave Downey.
Let's see what's going on here with Dave. Do you have any commentary for the Kensington Flying Chicken Complaints Desk?
Well, you know, I haven't had the Popeye's chicken sandwich yet, but I hear it's pretty damn good.
So Miss Melania Trump sent me a letter with her husband.
And what did she tell you about?
And she says, Milan, get out from Kensington. Don't stay there no more. You came in Kensington 1985. but he was not living there. I was on a property there, 1985, right? I came 1990. Everything what I built it, with no education, with not too much skills to work in this country, come legally, with a green card and social security. Second morning I started to work on front store across the street, which one guy was from Croatia, another guy, Jewish American guy. I was making pretty nice chunk of money, straight in a paycheck.
So you made it pretty good in Kensington.
Not Kensington, I'm talking about New York.
Where in New York?
I was a couple of different places. I was in Elmhurst, Queens, I was in Maspeth, Queens, and then I moved, stayed in Brooklyn, in Park Slope, where I meet today's president of New York Democratic Party. His name is COLOSSUS.
Yeah, I mean, just the mere fact of just cleaning out front of your own house brings pride to that little piece of your world.
That's one of the hazards about filming live, but not a problem. We're used to hogs here in Kensington.
Mr. COLOSSUS was a very small politician at that time.
Yes.
He was not even looking to go further in politics. He was maybe going in economics, because I hear on the radio like Bloomberg's investments, Mike Bloomberg, and Schumer investment too.
Yes.
You know, they have money.
So you know Chuck Schumer?
I know very well. Mr. Chuck Schumer helped me with my last X2 marriages, number 3 and number 4. And he was one of for my 37 years in this country, he was one of not too many American Jewish people background to be on a level with person from Kensington or Brooklyn or being in the White House. He was treating everybody the same, amazing person. If I was, I'm a super voter, you know, not this year maybe.
But if the whole community gets involved and clean the community, then the whole community is proud. I'm not saying Kensington's not proud or any community's not proud.
No. We're moving ahead. We're moving forward.
Yeah, it just takes the whole community.
Kensington's an active community.
Right. To get involved. If anybody wants to complain about anything going on in Kensington and they don't get involved either directly or indirectly, meaning by spreading the word or, you know, talking to people or
Exactly.
donations, whatever.
The best campaigns are on.
That's right. Well,
It's
I mean,
grassroots.
grassroots, and that's what we're going back to. Grassroots, knocking on doors, handing out flyers. Dennis handed out flyers to all around the McPherson Square Library to let the neighbors know what we're doing, to engage them in coming out and helping, because we don't want to clean the neighborhood every week by ourselves.
Historically speaking, you'd be like the first responder Minutemen, being called the militia, coming to the front line.
That's
I
true.
mean, it also ties into what you're facing with this other epidemic. The opiate is still looming in the background, and along with the flying chicken, you now have needles, which is also a point of possibly impact.
Well, my mind only has room for one epidemic at a time. They can't just keep throwing shit at us. I mean, we're going to go, I have to take it.
Yes.
You know, so
It
you
seems like
can't tell
overload,
me,
right?
you can't tell me, you know, whatever, and then next week tell me something else. You're not, you know, I'm not going to run around just because the TV or the news or this person or that person says to.
If he was candidate at that time to be a president, I would vote for him. But looks like everything changed now. And what changed? Nothing too much. In this world, World War I, World War II, whatever was crisis like this, talking first about not Corona, but talking about financial crisis, not just here, across the globe. Just like here, I bought yesterday phone, and I doesn't watch news yesterday too much because I was drinking a little bit too much wine, and I watched somebody wants, I don't know, Republicans or Democrats wants another $3 trillion to pull out from the already broken economic system of the United States of America.
What do you think of this epidemic or epidermic or whatever it's called?
Well, you know, I seen a lot of epidermic needles on the damn ground, but I didn't see nobody wearing masks over it.
How have you been affected by this?
Well, you know, it's kind of cutting in my business that, you know, that I'm trying to do is provide a laugh for everybody.
You're from Kensington originally?
Yes, I am. Born and raised. Front Dolphin.
From Melbourne. And where you out of now?
I'm in Shamokin.
Shamokin.
I'm in Shamokin Rocks. Pretty big rocks.
So what made you move to Shamokin?
Well, I heard they had fantastic weed.
Because what's happening in Kensington right now with gentrification, people are getting a lot of money for their homes, more than what they paid for it, but it's not enough money to go buy another home somewhere else, except
Somebody.
Shamokin.
Well, you know, you figure if you get paid $50,000, that's a lot of money to a lot of people in Kensington.
Well, because if you pay $10,000 for your house, yeah, $50,000 is a home.
Well, in my case, I only pay $1 for my house. So,
Okay.
So when you look at it in retrospect, $50,000, and you go want to stay in Philadelphia, they're gonna laugh at you.
That's a year rent.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh at you because a lot of houses nowadays in Philadelphia are maybe $150,000.
About 150 or more.
The program we were talking about that Deverdinas ushered through Kensington back in the 80s and 90s with housing. Were you able to take advantage of that, Dave? Is that what you're
Well,
talking
you
about?
know, I wasn't here in the 80s, but I was definitely here in the 90s. And I can tell you about the 90s. It was a rocking decade to where my generation grew up as the cool kids on the block. You know, not like the guys in the 80s who had duffel bags worth of dollar bills, pissing off the police department, counting ones to get out of jail. But, yeah, you know, that guy is a cool guy, and I love him to death. But I don't say names or, you know, television. But, you know, and I got another story. I know this other person, her daughter got arrested for bullshit something, and she went up to the district with a fucking $300 worth of quarters and had that shit counted out.
Oh, bailed her kid out with $300 a quarter?
Yeah.
It's money.
That's Kensington for you. Money's money. If I could go to, if I could go to the strip club and whip out my Access card and pay for a lap dance, I definitely would do it. It's a simple fact. It's money. The fuck you ever, you know, if you're hungry, you got food stamps. Especially if you smoking a little bit of puffy, you know, you're gonna need those food stamps. Especially you wake up 1 o'clock in the morning, you roll a joint, you smoke that shit, and realize after 2 hours of just sitting there, damn, I got some food stamps. Walk your ass to the Popeye store. And this is bring it back to the frying chicken. You can't do that shit no more. Until this open the fuck up. Shit. Fucking up the flow. I want to go to the Popeye store 2 o'clock in the morning and get some food stamps.
You ain't got no Popeye store in Shamokin.
No, we're talking more about the difference in housing. As Richie was saying, they were pushed out of here and they actually just, it told us an opportunity to go there and
Well,
save some
bring
money.
me back to what I was saying. People get saying, they see a couple of zeros after the 5. I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot of money. But in retrospect, that's not a lot of money. That's chump change.
But
They're being diluted into acknowledged or taking it when
Yes.
we could be taking 5 times that
They're
money.
being shepherded, they're being led.
Yeah.
I'm getting back to the root of that. The dollar housing program that came through here where they're trying to do something in the neighborhood. That was itself a federal expansion, a Sully.
Yeah.
All right, now, do you know anything about that period of time?
No, I don't.
We're in the 1980s, 1990s.
See, when I said I bought $1 for my house, is my grandfather basically gave it to me. And
Beautiful.
His
Beautiful.
grandfather bought the house.
Yes.
So my grandfather
Transferred the deed for $1.
Yes.
So he basically bought the house
That's
in the
Irish.
late 70s, and there's been a loudy on that block from the late 70s until about 2014. That's how far we go back to that particular block.
And what finally made you leave Kennedy?
Well, my dad got old, and you know, he was like, hey, listen, I'm tired of the bullshit. I don't want to come outside and watch these fucking drug addicts do drugs. I'm getting too old for this shit. You know, and he got tired of chasing them off his step. You know, he's like, ugh.
So it's never been any different?
Well, it's different now because
Yeah, they ain't there now. Because because they pushed everybody out of the neighborhood, they pushed the drugs out also. So where he grew up, it ain't like that now. It was like that then because they wanted to go down so that the investors could come and grab it cheap, resell it for 10, 15, 20 times the amount they bought. Because they gave them 50,000, I guarantee you that house went for 400,000.
They made it
Seed time and
condos.
harvest. It's the same model, different application.
They turned my house into 3 condos.
That's where they've been cropping people with the truth by telling lies.
$1,500.
And regional. That's also Google.
$1,500 a property?
No,
No,
$1,500 a month for one
Each
condo.
floor.
Free.
He had a big 3-story house on fucking
That
Wall
house
Street.
at the time, the land
That's
itself.
what they're doing.
Google is
land
fighting to
house.
maintain regional truths globally. In other words, they can say this here and they can say this there, and they're not going to be held accountable for it. It's okay for them to tell different truths in different places. That's crap.
At the time, since it was a twin of the house next to us, at the time the land was worth about $150,000, and they didn't want to buy the house. They
Just
wanted to buy
the
the
land.
land.
Yeah, underneath the house.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said they ripped off my dad because he didn't understand what the property value was because he didn't do research.
There's 2 values of your home when you sell.
The land and the
Your
house.
real value of the house and your real estate, which is the land. So there's 2 prices you have to look at. when
Yeah,
you
it's
sell.
a double thing.
Because I sold just vacant lots for $50,000 without a house on it. So I mean, if a house
Yeah,
is
but
money, you got
Richie-
the house value with the lot.
Richie, that's called evolution. See, that's where they jacked up prices. That's where they bubble out the real estate. They separate the house from the property it's on. Like you can have a house there, or you can have a property, but you can't own both at the same time. That's crap. That's lies.
That's right.
When you had, like your grandfather did, when he bought a house, the house came on a property. That's it. It's all one deal. That's like sitting in New York where they're selling airspace. That's what that's about.
That's right, and California. But
Yeah.
at any rate, look,
He should buy a place in Philadelphia.
when you own a home, you don't get charged for rainwater runoff, do you? Like when it rains and the water runs off your home.
They charge sewage. Charge sewage.
Well, I would get charged for all my vacant lots, rain runoff tax.
Yes, that's paper sewer system.
What the fuck?
They gotta filter it through the reservoir, through the
They
processing
gotta
plant.
filter it anyway.
But somebody has to pay the tab for
Man,
it.
what the fuck?
Like the insurance company.
We're paying the
The
tab for it when we
the
pay
insurance
for it.
company, by general
How
principle,
many
by
fucking times
design,
you gonna get taxed?
they never spend any money. All they do is reap money. They never spend a dime.
Oh, I know. Believe
They always
me,
take in, that's it.
I
It's a
say
one-way
this
street.
all the time. We're all sitting here preaching to the choir.
Well, you're terrified of the needles, and you're terrified of the germs, and you're wearing a mask,
Of
and then
course.
you're not going out. You're locking. What is people supposed to think?
But do you remember, though? Listen to me. Now think back, not too far in the distant past. In the not too distant past.
Yes.
Say 2 months ago.
Yes.
When all this started. Didn't the news media and the government tell us it's unsafe to wear masks?
Yes.
But now it's a law to wear masks. This is why I don't listen to, I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
Well, this is
And
why,
whatever happens, and that's my problem.
This is why we're supposed to be entitled to the truth and education and informed understanding and presentation of facts.
But
and
I have
evidence.
a problem with being informed. It's the informer. Do they know what they're talking about? And I will always ask that question.
Well, there's slants now. It's not the truth anymore. It's whose version of it.
It's not even a version or truth or lies. It's this is the agenda. This is what we want you to say, so you say it. Most of these people that are on TV now speaking to us and telling us to do this and that, they are paid actors.
And getting back to biblical. That's not the script that we go by. We got a different script that we follow. That's not our script. That's improv. That's artificial.
To make even worse than 29, And my country people, it's killing each another who's gonna grab a first loaf of bread because it's just one left. It's 1.6 million people in the capital.
Do you see that happening around here?
Well, almost. I was yesterday too with this my car, this one. We went to far northeast to our Russian European supermarket, right? 2 weeks ago, I got my food stamps. I went over there. I bought the food. I bought vegetables, everything fresh, you know. I'm seeing the prices, their job, someplace 50 cents, someplace $1, someplace you doesn't see, you know. Yesterday, I spent from the packet $100 myself. And I don't eat yesterday nothing. I drink 3 liters of wine. So I was not having appetite to eat. And guess what? 2 weeks ago, what I bought for $150, my refrigerator was empty yesterday. Nothing in the freezer, nothing down. Some onions left and a couple of potatoes and this and that.
Yeah,
So,
price gouging, that's part of this.
amazing, amazing. I've been to ShopRite, I don't know when the last time. Piece of steak. Well, the kind of good steak you can buy in big grocery stores, you know. Even maybe in Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, yes. But you know how much it's one piece of T-bone steak? Or let's say outlaw steak with the bone or without bone, you know. One piece of steak that's fresh, $15, $16, $18, one piece, right? When you put them, whatever you want, on a grill or on a plate.
It turns into half of that.
Eggs, you see, it's a simple mathematics.
I know.
You, like me, big gourmet, big eater, I cut that steak maybe in 4 pieces, maybe, or in 3, which is nice juicy piece, you know. It's done. It cost me $20, 3 bites. People doesn't look like that.
Listen, and it's going to keep getting worse if we, the people, don't stand up and fight
Do you
back.
hear my neighbor, my lovely neighbor, what he asked me? Question, do you see this in our country? And I said, in Serbia over there, people doesn't have no food. But you know what they have? Overnight, when only country in the world, our crooked president, who working with the fucking CIA, who working with M6, England, you know, all those shitty installed by England, you know, to be a president, one crook, gangster. His brother was having the biggest marijuana plant, was organic growing food, you know. When somebody make investigation, was the biggest European weed growing fucking place, right? That's the brother. Not to talk from Turkey, actually coming directly from Afghanistan, you still have bases, American bases in Turkey, because Turkey is in NATO, in Albania. Now they took out Mother Kosovo, they put a base American over there. So big transportation American military flights, and said to have a military personnel or tanks inside, they have tons of heroin, because America needs needle to
Listen, I knew this when we were sending troops over to guard the poppy fields in Afghanistan. Why are we guarding them? If heroin is a problem, you destroy it. But here's why. They use the poppy fields for the medication, for the opiate. It's one and the same.
Yeah, no, don't tape it, please. Don't tape it.
I mean, I'm standing here. I mean, I'm sitting here, looking across the street at the line of people standing in line to go into a fucking dollar, and people will say, even the president said, America will never be a socialist country. I'm looking at fucking socialism right now.
As far as the string of events coming along and vividly proportioned and time for our exodus here, can you see we're up to the point of not being able to buy and sell? As our businesses are being closed down, as we've been annexed,
Well,
now they don't need us no more.
That's part of the plan.
Yes, the 2020 plan.
That's right.
For covet the house. No flying chicken. I don't believe in flying chickens. That's what I mean about truth. Can you see it playing out and the evolutionary of it building to this point? It's not a conspiracy when that is the physical, tangible building blocks that were used.
You know that a government doesn't want their people to endure or be self-sustaining, because here's why. They stopped teaching their people. In fact, this government stopped teaching their people. They stopped teaching them how to care for themselves, how to make a home, how to budget a bank book, how to save money, how to get a job, how to change a flat tire.
Exactly. I was born in '62, where the government took our Word of God, took the teaching so people could assimilate and understand and associate, application and discern, took it out of the public school, and then made it based on nothing, like your ooze that grew out of Planet of the Apes or something.
That's all public schools are right now, are just one big babysitter center.
It's intentional.
That's it.
And universities
I know
the same
it is
thing.
intentional. Because here's why. The teachers, I can't say all of them, but I can say a good amount, and I'm even going back to when I went to school. They ain't fit to teach.
Well, if they did try to be fit to teach, they were expelled or they failed out. If they tried to understand the subject matter and present the truth from a biblical point of view, from a realistic, humanistic, historical point of view, from a Western civilization, American point of view, they were drummed out of school. They were drummed out as teachers. They were thrown out as tenure. They were cast out and locked down.
Because if you don't fall in line to the agenda, you'll be left behind or ousted.
That's the enigma. Changing the conversation, switching the narrative.
I'm glad I always walk to the fucking beat of my own drum.
Yes, amen. That's what you're given a heart and a soul and a mind of your own for. A sound mind.
That's right.
To be able to observe and discern for yourself.
Yeah, because now look, come Monday the city's open and everything's back to normal. So what was different?
The difference was the Obama shutdown in the medical industry,
Absolutely.
compounded on top of 1990 stopped teaching in medicine, just insurance to cover the cost. And what the bottom line was, they weren't interested in healing no more. It was straight, our industry that they're setting up for the 20th century was going to be straight experimentation on people.
We have become a consumer-only nation.
That's satanic. That's not consumer only, that's satanic. Even a consumer, as you're a Christian, allowed everything you touch to prosper. It's for a purpose and for a reason, so you can build. So you can build the kingdom. The princes brought the money back to rebuild the wall. That's what it's for. You are entitled, even when they left Egypt. Take the spoils with you. This is what you're going to use to build a new temple. Aaron had the idea, just like everybody else, like Saul and Achan, to take the son and put it on the side for himself. Just like Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, decided, well, I can help you with that authority. And the presbyters were born. They were just Hellenists in disguise, go along to get along. And that was a carrying forth of the elders board, the psychiatrists from the Greeks. And this is how we learn, how we're educated. But we're subconscious, unconscious to conscious. We are heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. We are divine, divinely made in His image, each and every one of us.
I liked it better when I walked around unconscious.
Yes. Well, that's what it's supposed to be in the victory of Christ. You're supposed to be allowed to just live your life. You get up when you want to get up, you go to sleep when you want to go to sleep, and you have your own itinerary.
I hate trying to figure every little thing out, and that's what life is right now.
That's what they did.
I don't even like to just sit on a chair, because everybody can just sit on a chair, right? Because you just trust it. I don't. I test the chair now.
But the Federal Reserve had lockdown. That was the pendulum in the 70s, even before that. That was 1900s when they started. 1908 giving sovereign immunity to the court. The Federal Reserve sat on the board and they decided with a pendulum from here on out. That's what they acted on in 64. Decide with the pendulum who's going to be winners and who's going to be losers. Starting with all these different color departments in a constitutionally based environment that's already given. God doesn't mention colors. He mentions character. He mentions heart. He mentions soul. He mentions integrity. He mentions valor. He mentions credulity, being able to know them through their ways. All things is evident where the rubber meets the road. What makes it, physically makes it from a concept into a physical being. That's the universal, where the universe is born, where there's a consciousness. There's a site called heavenabove.com, where the physicists actually have a signal, a voice, a vibration, a sound that comes from space. That's what started everything. And here, being Earth, the only planet of its kind, is where it decided it was going to inhabit a physical form. And it created all this for itself. Us, His Son, His creation, its creation, male and female, to operate in this way, totally intellectually designed. Nothing by happenstance, nothing by accident, even happenstance and accidents, all intentionally purposed. Universal made for good. so we can learn. So even though we're guides with lies, we can see the truth. But how goes with the needle situation and the safe injection site before I get off on a sermon?
Wait, how goes what?
With the needles that you're finding in the cleanup, how goes the condition of what kind of refuse are you finding on the curbs?
The refuse is getting, of course, more and more. It's not depleting.
Can you determine candy wrappers, gum wrappers, soda cups?
Absolutely.
Anything greater than the other?
Yeah, it's all hypodermic needles and or the orange tips for the plunger or the tip. Oh, I mean, there's more orange tips for the needles on the grass in McPherson than blades of grass.
Even with the drop-off sites right there.
Drop-off sites, there's boxes and all. Now listen, I'm gonna say something here. I just met a fellow today from the health department of Philadelphia, and he was down there, and I asked him, I said, oh, are you here to volunteer? He said, oh no, I'm with the city, with the health department, and you know, because he had a grabber and he's picking stuff up. I said, oh, what are you doing? He's like, well, we come here and we collect the needles. We have a needle collection. We collect the needles. He said, and we also empty the needle boxes. And I said to him, well, why would you need to empty the needle boxes if they're all over the ground? Are they using the needle boxes? And he had the audacity to say, oh yeah, the needle boxes are full. And in the same breath, I say to him about Prevention Point. And I said to him, I have nothing against Prevention Point, except one thing. Like, yes, they do a lot of good things for the community. But it's that one thing that makes 1,000 good things not worth it.
Which is like the Ten Commandments.
That's right. So what I said to him, I said, they're supposed to have a needle exchange. In other words, you give one needle, you get one needle. He said, oh, but that's what they do. And I said, no, sir, that's not what they do. They give out bags of hundreds of needles.
They give out bundles, yeah.
Right. This is why they're all over the ground. If you think back, even to the 90s, 1990s, even to the 2000s, before any of these free needle exchanges or needle giveaways, you never saw needles on the ground. You want me to tell you why? Because IV drug users would never throw away the needle that they need to get high with. Now, you're going to have proponents of that say, well, that's why there was a spread of AIDS and this and spread of disease. And yeah, Prevention Point did make a good point to me about that. That's...
How about an industrial complex purview where they give out these bundles? Now these bundles are used by these homeless people and migrants into the area to be sold on the street.
Well,
so
they're
propagating the drugs.
They're creating an industry, a drug for the drug trade. It's almost like they're in partnership.
Medical industrial industry.
With the drug dealers on the corner, because here, why? They provide a place for all the addicts to live on the avenue. They provide an address so they all can collect welfare. Then they give them all the materials, not just a needle. They give them a little thing of water to mix it with, an actual cook-up thing to cook it up with, the matches.
Well, Richie, take that same formula and apply it to the sociological design of the flying chicken. They germinated all these things. Now they're trying to get rid of the opiate. They're switching the market.
Of
just
course.
like putting marijuana in there.
Listen to me. Of course they're switching the market.
Did you know
Wait a minute. Mayor Kenny went to New York and also Canada to model. He said he was going there to model New York's police force to bring the same thing to Philadelphia.
Monitor, yes.
And he also went to Canada to see the safe injection sites. The whole model wasn't about the police districts and all that. It was model Philadelphia after New York, period. I mean, because that's what Philadelphia is right now. It's New York. I'm going to tell you why. he goes to Canada to look at their safe injection sites. This is why they're so hype about these safe injection sites, and it has nothing to do, they don't care about the safety of any user on the streets, because if they cared, this wouldn't be a problem today. It wouldn't be a problem. What they care about is they get federal funding by passing out them needles. So they need these addicts out there getting high, because Prevention Point does not make money if they do not hand out the needles. They get federal funding. If it's not used, it's lost. So they have to use it. This is why they're handing out hundreds and hundreds of needles, because they can say on their federal yearly budget that we need X amount for this.
Add into
needles.
that equation, Richie, that people have been becoming more and more apprehensive about using medicine, about getting injections, about getting vaccines. As I said, they're borning the flying chicken. Right? They have no use, no distribution for all these things. Now they had to create this other market. Instead of being able to use this chemical, well, I can use it in this and this and this and this. Now we're lining up the natural, as we did in the early 1900s, as they did in the 1800s. The holistic and the naturalistic, which they always quashed down. In the 1920s, that's when he came out with Reefer Madness.
I remember.
To combat the natural health movement. And the flappers, that was the ladies going off the rocker because they were told they were slaves, now they're released. It's all psychological. It's toy soldiers, puppets, fed into their head, read over them, and everybody sits around. Your government sits around, your church sits around, your education sits around, with their head up their ass, as this is what the children have to suffer. Now, as a baby of 1962, I'm a Christian, and my parents wouldn't talk, perhaps, because maybe it wasn't legal, or maybe it wasn't public to address God in public anymore. They busted my neighborhood in Bridge Street to put it on a 95 on-ramp for federal expansion. It never took place, just emptied out the neighborhood. Stuck me here in Kensington. And I started to grow. That's why I do what I do now in Kensington. That's why I Kensington Abbey. But the same thing with you, with organized Kensington. Now we can get back on the subject matter that we're addressing. This is how we pull the thread straight. It's just balled up in a knot. That's why it's confused with all lies and stuff like that. But you take it one at one end, one at the other end, just like the compass down at City Hall, with a ball straight in the
It
middle.
all goes straight again.
And both pull it straight. That's it. That's it. That's the word. That's the string theory. That's the 11th dimension to the 4th dimension. But give me a little more about the organized Kensington. Bill number 200-189. I haven't heard any more out of it, or of David O and his potential. But giving 80% back to the community, that's a wonderful place to start.
I believe that when I see it. I don't believe any politician or their promises.
No, it sounded like in order for him to do that and to be able to trust that, he has to have the credulity, the markers there that they can address for fiscal responsibly. So David O is doing it correctly. That's what I was saying before in our other
I'm not
interview.
saying that he's not, but what I'm still saying is promises are cheap. Results, I like.
Has Organized Kensington heard from David O? I mean, the freeholders haven't.
No one has.
Have you heard from Mark Squilla?
No, but I haven't reached out to him, but I will this week, I think.
And how about Maria Fiona Sanchez?
I actually set up something today to speak with her.
Yeah, she's running again for another seat. And I want to find out that changes the land bank, and that as well wants to be pulled under the freeholders for working in the community. Inside out, not outside.
I was president of the land bank meeting that involved Kensington in 2013. When, none of this was as bad as it is right now.
Was anybody from Kensington at the meeting?
I was. There was about a handful of us. But no.
Did you recognize
But
it?
wait a minute. Any residents? No.
Yes. Okay.
Zero community.
Exactly.
In the city sold the development rights to one corporation in California to everything west of the elevated train.
That's where we lost our Hanneman. That's who I think burned down the fuel yard down there, Sun Oil Company. They can't have that around here. Oh, surprise, surprise. And where did they come from? And the protesters went up to New York about that fueling station over there, the Sun Oil Company, our biggest plant that we have for our resources, of good, clean fuel. And those who went to protest that, who were these people? We have their names and what organizations they belong to. I mean, Trump's not the only one under this kind of scrutiny. You got to understand how thick these lies go, how deep, what a shadow follows everybody. And the only way to get rid of a shadow is to put a light on it.
I've said this once before, Bear. I've been with the slime of the earth and the kings of the earth. And everything in between.
Yes.
So
God's green earth.
I know every angle of the spectrum.
We know them.
So I know that there is very good people, and I know that there are very bad people.
Because we're not bad does not mean we don't know how. It's a choice.
I understand.
It's a choice. See that? Roseanne hit right on time. I like that. But anyhow, tell me about your organized Kensington.
Well, me and Dennis started this organized Kensington movement to, as it says, organize Kensington. And we mean organize the residents, the business owners, the community as a whole, organize into leaders, community leaders. Not be so dependent on the city government.
Do you see the bait and switch? Look at the Boy Scout scenario. All right, the Boy Scouts were fine. Then in the 80s, oh, you know what? We want to have girls in there too. And they went in there and they occupied the place. And then they discredited the place with the homosexuality. And then the Boy Scouts got sued out of it.
They're no longer in existence.
And the Boy Scouts are the Eagle Scouts. Just like the Girl Scouts.
Wait a minute, but this organization raised a lot of leaders. A lot of our leaders were Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts.
That's why they had to take it out. Understand what a coup's about. To undermine the entire integrity of the people. A frog boiling. That's why they don't know they're boiling. Oh, this is happening over here. I'm too busy now. I got to work. I got to make it as they micromanage you. So you can't even make ends meet. So now it's no longer vacation planning time. They decided that in the 90s. It's too much free time, too much vacation time. Kids should go to school year round. Decided that.
Hopefully, everyone heard what he just said and was listening. And if you didn't, rewind that and listen to it again.
It's what they already heard, or they should have heard, if they're listening.
I'm just saying, that makes complete sense, and that's exactly what's going on right now.
Seek ye first the kingdom, all these things will be added to you. I've been running for my life. They took God out of my picture. And all I know is what the Lord said. As far as what man said, I can't trust that for nothing. And it just shows in every model that there is. I can see these things. I'm a writer. I'm a reader. I go by the word. That's what raises us up. It resurrects us.
Most of all, what the government now does not want are thinkers.
But understand Common Core. Understand the same way they do it. They are terrified too. They are the children who are from the catacombs. Understand they're terrified too, and they don't know how to bring back the dead. And this is all they've known. So then it got to a point where that's where the dictator comes in. I'm not going to tell you no more. You're happy and living blissful like this. That's all you're going to know. That's what the dictators do. That's all you know. Oh, they don't know the truth. That's all they know. They don't know any worries. All they know is the truth. And if the government falls on you, then that's a worry. That's the only worry there is. So understand where they came from. But now that was since Joshua when they lost their way. When they were living so nice, no one paid attention. Just like that one episode of SG-1 with the Henry Gibson. 200, 300 years of living, thinking and worshiping and enjoying the victory of the Lord. And then all of a sudden the enemy attacks and somebody went down and the university went down and screwed with the senator, the person who's going to defend the sentinel, the person who's going to defend it against all the evil. But we are that defender. We are the fire angel. That's the baptism by fire. So we can stand in truth. So we can stand in knowledge. Ownership. You can't have evil tenants and landlords taking our ownership away so we don't even know if we're boys or girls. It's very simple and it's complex, but it's straight through one string, one God, one word. Always the same. But yeah, you can see it manifesting here. In 2020, that's what we're about. At this point in time, Lord willing, we're going forward.
I'm going to always go forward, you know what I'm saying?
As it's written in 3.5 years, that's why it was over early, and Hillary didn't win in 2016. So we got everything is going on, everything's been going on. At this point, to me, it's down to the entire world just become a coloring book, and all the people just participate. So that's why I can jab in and out of flash to physical to metaphysical. That's the word in its purest form. But beyond that, so that's the Common Core. where you just all meld into this one big. No, beyond that, Christ comes back the same man, equal individual, not this common core. Everybody disappears, nobody moves nothing, everybody annexes it's for the greater good, and everybody sacrifices to the greater good. No, that's Satan. That's Satan, because it's made of God and it all belongs to me. I'm the slave master. That's the Federal Reserve. That's what's played out. The story's right there. It always has been. No matter who you tell it by, no matter whose family you use, it's always the same story. Whether or not they know it or not, it's always the same. It's always the same. The Spirit's there. The Word is there. The truth is there. The light is always there, and so is the salt. But the teaching, that's where the lies come in, and that's the danger. That's why we have to have the Word back in school. You can see what's manifesting. The flying chicken, as I said, I think that's all just a mirage. That's the people who went out and cruised in the ponds. Well, no, it's still a reservoir. There's always the well. That's Christ himself. The well of souls. The Father through the Son, making manifest in the Spirit the physical being. That's why it's called Son of Man. It's also the Son of the universe. One. Everybody in it, no matter where you come from, your reflection, your color and stuff like that, your construct, your diet, all that's there, it's all told. But it's micro to macro. All in each and every single individual human being, by choice. It's a beautiful thing. But I do wish him well, and from Dennis, he had another turnout today, and it doubled the amount of people he had last week.
Every week it doubles.
And what time do you come out?
I was out there at 7. We came out there at 9, though. But I mean, me or Dennis or the other volunteers, Mark, we usually go out earlier than we start just to get a look at what's going on, see how
the survey
strategically we want to get it right.
But you're established for every week now?
Every week.
9 until 12.
We have people donating. We have local developers donating supplies. We have the city on board donating things. Department of Health said they're going to donate masks, gloves, and the little things to pick things up with.
Has that feeding site or Phil Bundes or anybody offered refreshments for the workers?
No, but we have refreshments for our volunteers on their own.
Well, the idea
and
is,
we take our trash with us, not like these non-profits that go down there handing out food and then the trash is thrown all over whatever they don't eat or whatever, and also the bags they hand them out in get thrown right on the ground.
That's the principle. They have to be taught as they return, they're healed. When you're teaching the Word, you're healed. But as they return, if you just let them wander back in the way they wandered off, pissed off, they come back 7 times worse. So yeah, that's the principle of the freeholders, to have the hub, the banner, under which, just like the American flag, just like I shall not be dominated. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's the rebel spirit. Where, never again. I believe that's 1619. Never again. We came from that bondage. We seen with Columbus, they still came over with that, even though Columbus wasn't.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
And then with
Excuse me. I know you party today.
And when it came to the Pilgrims, they did the same thing, where they said, let's put it into the central pool. But then came 1619, because word got back what they're doing, how many had suffered, how many had lost. And that wasn't our objective. We were pilgrims. We were journeymen, we were artisans. We're not stupid. We search and we seek, and in every culture we sought. Just like Mary going from Philadelphia to Boston and telling them, the Puritan, no, the Quaker went up there. And then they told her, if you come back, we're going to hang you. And she went back, because Christians don't back down, and they hung her. Well, now this is not that day. This is this day, and this is Philadelphia. And we're rising up like this.
And that's what all communities, all citizens need to rise up, man. Like, you're creating your own prison.
Well, we do so by reincorporating Kensington, one man, just like our Savior. Reincorporate Kensington in the conservation easement, one man. Penn's Charter of Privilege, one man. The First Continental Congress, one man. One thought, one people. Of a history coming forward to that point. It is pre-Revolutionary War. This is what the seed was and sowed that. We're not taking it no more. The British colonists at that point in time, their days were numbered. At this day and time, they're not supposed to be here. I don't care what Franklin did to make nice nights. I don't care what this and that and every other politician did to make nice nights. They had no office. We have something we go by. Washington knew it. That's why they didn't really like George Washington very much. We're not doing that same old game no more. Here, to live is vain, to die is Christ. All right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, we have a divine providence here. I'm not a king. We run in presidential terms. And we represent the people. We are that type of government. We are self-governed.
I can't tell.
No.
I hope that's what Trump meant when he said make America great again.
You would have to go through Hillsdale University. They offered many programs of teaching and education. I don't even know if the Heritage Foundation, well, they had that in Mel Gibson's movie, so I don't know. Had a little bit of opportunity to it. But I like the idea that Hillsdale College. They have the online, they have the Constitution, all their professors, they teach these things free. They do not take any sponsorship. And as far as the Southern Baptist is concerned, some of them are kind of off the hook, but other ones are right on the money. The object is how well do you know the Word and what you're listening, what you're hearing. It doesn't matter what you're told. It matters what you process through your mill and what you grow in your vineyard. As far as my garden, it's guarded. It's under lockdown. It's always been that way. I produce for royalty. I produce for my neighbor. I produce for my community. As do you. As to our family. To God and country.
Because I know that my community is the community where my children and grandchildren live.
Amen.
And I don't want to leave this community for my kids and grandkids the way that it has been left for so many generations.
The continuum, the inheritance.
To why it became the way it is today.
The birthright.
Somebody has to break the cycle.
Amen.
It's time to stand up and take back your communities.
Not a cycle. Someone has to break the delusion. Someone has to break the lie.
That's a cycle.
Someone has to hold the truth. Someone has to prosecute. Not just talk about it, prosecute. His first step. You have to charge them. At that point in time, that's the most merciful thing you can do, is charge them. Because while they're breathing, you're giving them every effort to confess and repent. And then we have civil and we have criminal codes of law to handle these people and to handle these situations and to handle the teaching and the teachers. Trump knows this. He's got to tippy-toe through tulips and walk on eggs to get there. He doesn't have to do that. He has the entire public of the United States of America behind him. Don't listen to what the man says.
Never did.
Amen. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see.
What do you mean, tell you what I see? What?
That's what Christ asks when he cleared the vision. Tell me what you see. Don't tell me what everybody else sees.
Right. You're only looking through your eyes.
Yeah, he did that with Peter when it's, what do you say? Well, you do that in reverse too. What do you see? I don't care what, I hear what everybody else says. I know all that. That's fine and well. That's right here. But I'm one-on-one with you. What do you see? Who do you say? As Christ said, what do you say the truth is?
I couldn't hear you.
What do you say the truth is?
About
all things. Who do you say that I am? What do you say the truth is? What do you clarify?
I say to everybody, ask questions about everything. Don't take anything as the truth.
Amen.
You know what the truth is? When you seek out what you want to know and find it, that's the truth.
But you got to tie that on. Take all things, bring it under the authority of the Word. Without the Word there, yes, it could end up anywhere. That's limbo. That's deteriorating. That weakens your defense. That makes your walls crumble. And your children get lost. If actually the walls fall off, that's in the Bible too. From cutting corners on the mortar. It's not the mortar to marry her, not unless the mortar's made right. But yeah, I like what you're doing. I like what David O's done. I see great things going on here. The people are communicating. And that's basically what we've always needed. And what we've always had. How dare these people step in and tell us we don't talk to each other, we don't know what the left hand don't know what the right hand is doing. So you're talking to the wrong people. Here's a Kennedy. You made it here, that's because they kicked you out of everyplace else. Right or wrong?
Absolutely right.
That's why they had the Warsaw Ghetto. That was the objective. It's in after herd. That was the objective of breaking Bridge Street with the federal expansion. That's why it's underneath Pennsylvania Horticultural Society and the Philosophical Society. As they sow their weeds. And they call them seeds. But sure as crap they don't eat from that garden. They feed that to everybody else. No, we don't do that no more. As Daniel said, this is our diet. You let them eat the kings. They can eat whatever those kings want to. This is the king's diet. This is what we eat. That's all. No problem. And no hard feelings. And we'll probably have the medicine there to help you along the way. Not a problem. Where there's weakness, there's also majesty. Where there's majesty, there's also poor spirit. But it all works together in three. A father, a mother, and a child. Quite frankly, I do think the mother is the most important. That's why she's double blessed. Because she has to not only raise above herself, but she has to raise above all women's opinions. To stand that, she stands like on the top of the dome at the White House. She stands above the stars. She has to, like mom. Dad's just another one of his. Yeah, he's the one that gets the job done. Yeah, Esau has to go out and get the meat from the table. He's a Jacob that has to negotiate. He's the Israel that has to put his foot down. But anyhow, Richie, it's been quite good. Gentlemen, just happen to see you wandering along the street here. Half hour after I called you, but you know. This isn't a setup. No, we didn't plan this out. No, I think we're making good politicians. But it's important to keep it above the board. So ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I know.
That's why I put it on the camera before I do anything. If I'm going to put my foot in the mouth, I at least want to see what it looks like. All right. Thanks again.
Okay. All right.
This has been the Abbott of Kensington show. Kensington Flying Chicken Complaints segment. What's today's date? May the 16th, 2020. 516. Yes.